Boys, I'm very proud Englishmen. So let's be proud of what we've done and continue to do. So never let anybody see you with your chin on your chest. Never. Never let them. That's a challenge, right? So we go tall out of this building. We go tall next week, a whole week.
It's hard to really sum up the feelings from last weekend, to be completely honest. One of immense pride. I said that we could go out there and do something special last weekend, and we were so close. But you know, I put the challenge down that I wanted it to be our most physical performance. It needed to be our most physical performance to get the result that we wanted, and I'm genuinely in awe of some of the boys and their effort. And I think we were going to learn a huge amount from that game, and obviously it builds up quite nicely into this weekend too. I've said it before, this is the easiest team I think anyone could want to captain, because firstly, the excitement levels of the group, the eagerness of the group. As soon as we say we're going to do something, people go and get after it. Like a lot of times when I've been captain previously or been in parts of other groups, you always bring teams together at the start of a session and say, right lads, let's make sure we get our heads on here, big session, blah, blah, blah. I genuinely don't feel the need to do that because of how people apply themselves, how driven this team is, and you know, how driven people are to make sure that we get better every day, and that's a really good space to be in. I'm also really lucky to have some really experienced and brilliant leaders around me, Ben, Marrow, Slady, Joe Marler, in terms of the vice captains, but it goes beyond that. I'm really loving seeing the development of Marcus and Finn Smith with their leadership. You know, it's fly halves naturally the quarterback of the team, and the way that they've taken on our attack and really led that way, because obviously when you lose the likes of Owen and George Ford from the Six Nations, you know, those guys are absolute legends of the game and coaches in their own right almost. So big shoes to fill for them, but I've genuinely been so impressed with what they've done, and it makes my life so much easier being able to trust them and know that, you know, they've first of all done all the work off the field to get themselves in the right headspace, but then being able to deliver it on the field too. The formality of being vice captain could put more onus on you as a leader. For me, I've tried to stay pretty authentic, tried to stay myself. I've tried to make sure that I'm leading by example, whether that be in training or in the games or in my recovery, the way I am around the team room. I guess for me as well, you know, out of the vice captains, I've probably got the least amount of experience, and maybe have a bit more of a connection to those who are a little bit younger in the squad. So I feel like at times I can get a good gauge of where they're at compared to maybe those older statesmen that have been in and around the team for a long, long time. But yeah, so for me, my role around the team hasn't really changed too much. I'm just honoured to have that role for me, but also know that it comes with a weight of expectation and a expectation around how I perform and how I am around the group, and I've really enjoyed it so far.
Two, three, squeeze! So we put the marker down last week, lads, to have the most physical performance we've ever had at this team. Boys, honestly, like, give you so much credit for the way that we went after it. Our energy, our work, the way we hit. Of course there are things to get better. The challenge this week, we need to back it up, boys. We need to back it up. We need to take it up a notch even. And I reckon that requires tough people. And we haven't just, like, it's perfect for us because we haven't just been speaking about being tough for 1 week, 2 weeks. Since Steve's come into this team, we've spoken about being tough. Since you've joined this team, we've spoken about we need tough men. None more so than this week. Great session, boys. Well done.
Yeah, I've known Jamie for a long time. He's always had amazing leadership qualities. I think he is one of the calmest, most calculated, most measured players that I've seen, and I've had the pleasure of playing with. In terms of his leadership ability, it's never been in question, but seeing him embrace this role has just cemented in my mind what a great leader he is. I guess his great strengths are he's authentic, he's not changed an inch from when he got the role, and actually if anything you've probably seen more of himself in the team. Secondly, he empowers every individual to feel free and feel comfortable to be themselves in this group. And lastly, I guess I feel like every person in the squad would consider him a good friend, and I always think that's a good testament to the person he is, and that has definitely informed his leadership. I'm so pleased for him and so pleased for us as a group that we have him as a leader at the moment in terms of that formal captaincy, because yeah, he's the standard bearer of the team, and I think, you know, the experience he's had over the last couple of years on and off the pitch, he's only going to get better at it as well. Tours like this are special for a number of different reasons. It's very rare that you spend unadulterated 5, 6, 7 weeks together as a group. You know, it's really just summer tours and World Cups, because during Six Nations, etc., you have the opportunity to go home in between weeks and whatnot. So it's about as close as a club feeling as you can have in an international group.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Keep winding, keep winding.
Oh!
Yes!
Yeah!
We've managed to get to know each other on a very, very deep emotional level over the last 5, 6, 7 weeks, and we've had many highs and many lows. Everyone's journey is a bit different, and I think as well the magic of a summer tour is that yes, there are probably 23 guys playing on the Saturday, but when the final whistle goes and everyone comes on the pitch, you realise that it's a 35, 36 player effort. Win together, we lose together. I think that's the magic of a touring squad, and it's not just the players as well, it's the staff. People seem to sometimes lose sight of that. These members of staff are also away from their families and their loved ones for as long as we are, if not longer. And you know, I think a huge amount of gratitude has to go to them, but also the fact that they contribute massively to the success of the team, and we're all one team. We win together, we lose together, like I said.
I'm keeping the 23, the words are the same. Those are the two changes I'm making. Now this is the 11th time I've been away with England on a summer series of any kind, either as a coach or as a player. And the guys who've not been selected in the matchday 23 have been, this is unequivocally the best I have ever seen in those 11. Joe, been on a few?
Yeah. Well, you want to be part of something special, whether you're starting, whether you're on the bench, whether you're not involved at all. You'd much rather be part of a historic win in New Zealand than a losing one. So it's worth it. It's worth it. You've got 6 days, 7 days left. It's worth it. Put everything you've got into it to help the team grow and help yourself get better. It's worth it, boys.
Yeah, I think the sign of any good team is how competitive the non-23 guys, the guys who aren't selected in the match day squad are. And honestly, I've been blown away by what the non-23 guys have been able to do. Obviously, there's been a pretty consistent team throughout these 3 games, and you know, you got to look at it and think there's some really disappointed people in that group, and rightly so, because everyone's ambitious, everyone wants to play. It's the sign of a good team, but the way that they then train on a Monday, on a Tuesday, how hard they put themselves, how hard they go in the gym, putting themselves in a hole, making sure that they're ready if and when the opportunity does come. And you know, you've got to look at Bev is a great example. Bevan obviously started the first game, really disappointed not to be involved in the second, but he's worked really hard and he's now ready to be able to be a part of the matchday squad again, and that in itself is a huge credit to him, but it's a sign of what this group has been about. And yeah, that non-23 group has been, you know, they've really set the standard for us as a team.
And last thing for me, boys, like this was our last session on the field. Whenever anyone has been in a black bib, since they've been here, you have trained the house down. You've set the intensity, you've set the standard of the whole thing. I hope you know that I mean this, boys. Genuinely, thank you for everything that you've done. When the 23 that are lucky enough to represent this team on Saturday, we represent this entire group. This entire group. The character has been set by these guys. So we owe them one, eh? Make sure we go out there and do it.
100 England caps or £100 million?
100 England caps.
Dan Cole, what an amazing guy. I mean, firstly, so pleased for him. I think his journey actually, weirdly, over the last probably 2 or 3 years has been pretty similar to myself. You know, coming back in over the last 18 months or so. And yeah, he's taken it with both hands like he always would. So experienced, so knowledgeable, so measured. And yeah, I actually now consider him a very, very close friend. We spent a lot of time together, like I said, drinking coffees, or he is without doubt probably the smartest rugby player I know, the most read. There's probably 2 things that stick out to me. There's a few of us that have a nightly quiz in Jamie George's room, and he wins every night, bar none, by a country mile. And secondly, we were on the flight from Japan to New Zealand, and I tapped him on the shoulder and asked what he was reading, and he was reading the years of Winston Churchill between 1913 and 1940, and I thought that was just bonkers, and I think that's reflective of him as a human being. I mean, there's the Dan Cole, the rugby player, and there's Dan Cole, the social media sensation, then there's Dan Cole, the person, which is such a rounded, well-versed, measured human being. And someone that I'm very lucky to have played with and got to know over the last couple of years.
Because Dan came on the scene as pretty much an unknown. At the start of this season, he was
forced hand, isn't it?
You know, but he was out playing on loan with Nottingham. You know, so and he's come on, and so there wasn't any expectation around him. And now we've kind of seen him, and there's okay then, this is a guy who could potentially be the cornerstone of the England pack for a long time. For up to 10 years.
He's set to break that amazing record to become the 2nd most capped men's player for England, and that in itself is an incredible achievement when you take into account that he had such a long period out of the game post 2019, but the way that he's come back in and really driven and led this team. He's taken the scrum by the scruff of the neck with him and Tom Harrison, the brains trust of our scrum, and yeah, he deserves this accolade. He deserves all the plaudits, because you know he will hate every second of it. But what he's achieved in the game, you know, him coming and breaking this record now, to break Jason Leonard's record in particular, I think is so fitting and special, and really hope that we can make it a fun day for him.
There's been a lot of talk this week how this could be a memorable day. Boys, I'm telling you now, we're going to remember this day regardless of the result. So it could be a day that we can rewrite history, or it could be a day where we see another missed opportunity. The good thing is that I know that this team is ready to take this opportunity. I know it because we've worked so hard all season long. We've come so far in this journey, boys. It's too good to pass on this opportunity, boys. And let's love doing it all the time, boys, okay? Let's love it.
Really been able to get in the game. What about Marcus Smith and this kick towards Manny Fairwaboso that could be riding it now? Oh, they are! What a step! Come on! All the way through that work rate. So too Martin. England have a penalty. Smith goes for one of those crossfield kicks again, and it's Tommy Freeman who makes it! Both wingers have done it now. Half-time, England lead.
George Martin just said something to me over there, resonates with me, no regrets. 40 minutes of rugby, no regrets. Do you remember what I said to you before the game last week? It's going to be worth it, boys, I promise you. Let's fight like we've never fought before. Let's dig in for each other here, boys.
And a bit of space there with Bowden back, and he's finding it again. Oh, he's finding it all right. And he's got support outside from that man once more. Mark Talea. Dan Cole is there, significant moment. Cap number 115, most capped England forward ever. Overtakes Jason Leonard. This is where that thought of a long, hard season might kick in. But England also know this is the last thing they have to do. Can they find a way to that try line and give themselves a shot at a draw? No, they can't. But England came close last week and this, David.
Together in November, play these guys again first up to make sure we have that in the back of our minds or something, right boys? Well done, huge well done this. Just on behalf of everyone here, genuinely, I know it's a long way, I know time difference can make it hard sometimes, but thank you for all your support. It's been absolutely awesome and we really are feeling the love for this team, so thank you very much.